Hey everybody, welcome to the Wombo podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Gimpy, joined by the one and the only Chipped Monk. What's up, bro?
What's happening, man? Just living.
Chilling,
I'm out
man.
here doing big things.
Cheers to you, man. Got the coffee going
Cheers,
today.
Man. Got a little brewski.
Yeah, had to. Oh, man, I have had a week, dude. Like, day job just completely snowballed because we had people on vacation.
Yeah.
And, it was right at the end of the month and 3-day weekend coming up. So I have been just swamped, man. I got that one day I messaged you. I got one day of like a 3-hour session of game dev and done, man. It's
oh damn.
It's less than I wanted, but I have to look at it going, at least I did something, you know?
Yes, it's more than zero.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, no true functioning game yet, but animations are done. I can completely say they're done. I'm not going to work on them again unless it's like touching up to make it feel better in the world. But now I'm at the point where it's just putting shit in the world and making sure shit stitches together on this auto runner, and then my kids can play it and I'm good to go. I have to figure out how to because they have like Fire tablets, right? My whole thing is just to make it like touch controls and play on a tablet. And I don't know if you could put like unknown source stuff on with a kid's profile onto a Fire tablet. Maybe you can. I'll have to look into it more.
It might
be one of those things where I actually have to publish it, but like a private publish or something. I don't know. Well, I'll have to figure it out, but that's for future Gimpy to figure out.
That's a different, you know what that is? That's future Gimpy's problem.
For sure.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something you have to think about. Like I was telling you, like in Unity, I was having like authoring problems with the new APK because you're like, oh yeah, they had all this security shit, and I'm like, damn, I used to just be able to hit a button now. It wants me to put in all this information. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah,
and so I haven't been.
When I found my one of my old projects, I was telling you, I had to actually recompile that APK because the old version just wouldn't install on new devices. It's like it doesn't match security certificate or whatever. And even though I had unknown sources selected, it still wouldn't allow me to play it. So
it's protecting you from yourself, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm like, there's no virus. I swear I made this,
Dude, just because I called it virus.exe, it was just a joke, bro.
Dude, no joke. You sending that? So everyone listening, when Chip was working on his VR missions game, the first build of it he sent me was virus.exe. And Gmail actually filtered that, going, this could be potentially harmful to your computer. I'm like, this dude sent me a for real virus as a joke. So I scanned it with a separate program. I was like, honestly.
Always scan, dude.
Always scan, even if you know the person.
That's right, dude. Don't trust nobody. Any account could be compromised.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. So after just a little bit of the game dev that I got done during the week, I've actually been focusing on more of. So I'm opening myself up to genres I don't like, but I'm picking things that I do like in other genres that certain survival games are doing, or just other genres that I typically don't like are doing to experience what this is. You joined my stream the other day when I did Tribes of Midgard. I typically do not like survival games, right? But I like roguelikes. This game combines both of them, and I like playing with the boys. So,
How did you feel about Tribes of Midgard?
I thought that some of the stuff was a little rough around the edges, but the tutorial was complete ass. But like by our second run, I felt we got into a good groove, and then the constant threat of having a giant god come and try and destroy our town was nice because we had to think of strategies on the fly. It's like when myself and shout out C Squared we're fighting the dark wizard god or whatever, and our village started being under attack, and you and shout out Spork ported back to defend the village, and then came back and kept fighting the monster. That was some emergent gameplay of us kind of making a different stratagems and stuff. I thought it was great. I absolutely loved it. The combat was more ARPG combat, which is what I was looking for, because off stream and everything, I've been going through Diablo 2 on my Steam Deck. So I'm kind of craving that style of gameplay, So
all right, the remake of it or the OG?
Yeah, the remaster. Yeah. Speaking of Diablo, the Diablo 1 actually has a mod called Devolution X that modernizes the game for modern computers.
Yeah.
And as great as Diablo 2 is, and it's deserved of one of the greatest games of all time, I personally grew up and put more time into Diablo 1. So
Oh,
like,
dang. You're a
going
purist,
back and
dude.
yeah, it's just like the
That's
nostalgia
what you had
because
more time with.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly because like when Diablo 2 was out, like I was also in sports, at the same
Yep.
time. So
I
the
feel
time I got to
the
play,
I feel
yeah,
the
it
same
just
way about
wasn't.
like Warcraft 2, where I'm like, that's the go-to. And I was like, nah,
Yeah,
man, 3 is like reforged. Like this is the
yeah,
way, this is the how it was meant to be played when it was like a 3D. I was like, nah, I like the sprite
the
art and
sprite.
yeah.
Yeah. I loved Warcraft 2 as well, man. It's so
Yeah.
good. But
I didn't
yeah,
even
man.
have the actual game, dude, just like the demo
Oh yeah,
disc.
yeah. That demo
Actual
disc for
disc.
sure. The
Like a
101
floppy.
games or whatever. That
Yeah.
disc. Did you
Oh,
get that one? I had that. It had Warcraft. It had the StarCraft demo, which actually led me to buying StarCraft. And Redneck Rampage was on that bad boy.
nice.
It's good times, good times. But what was I talking about? I can't remember now.
Being nostalgic for Diablo, you
Oh yeah.
modernized it with some kit.
Thank you. So you know, so Tribes of Midgard kind of showed the survival aspect, and my wife loves survival games, so I'm like, we co-opted in Valheim and stuff, but I always get bored of them because there's no goal or end game. It's
Yeah.
just always going on. So Tribes of Midgard really scratched what I liked in things, and had things, and they streamlined like the survival aspect of it, like farming and stuff, or like mining for trees or rocks. You just walk up and press F to it, or if you're
Yeah.
the warrior, you just slash it and you're good to go. So you still had
Yeah.
like the material collecting, but I felt you could do it passively. Like I'm going on a quest to raid villages, and we're just collecting materials on the way. So
Yeah. I was like, always pick up everything you see along the way.
yep, yep,
Leave
yep.
no stone unturned.
Yeah, and it had like the communal aspect because we had the shared chest or whatever, and we could continually buy and upgrade the shops. And I thought it was very fun. From some of the shortcomings I felt with it have been alleviated when I got further into the game. So I'm like, oh, the
Oh,
bosses are kind of simple. And then when I was doing a solo run by myself, I actually encountered an ancient, which actually had a different move set and wasn't just kind of a straight beeline.
mm.
So I was like, okay, this game has some legs. So I'm interested in
Yeah. It could
us
definitely
trying the
use
different ages and stuff or seasons.
it could use like an upgrade to like some of the boss AI, at least like a little bit.
Sure,
It
sure.
we
More
got
of a
good
challenge.
tells.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played a lot of the survivor mode or
Oh,
whatever,
okay.
the
Yeah.
free mode or whatever it
Yes.
is.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. I ran into problems. I don't know if it's because of the RNG. I couldn't find like obsidian, and it's like, oh, it's in the desert biome, and there's no desert biome like in the island it's on me in.
Oh, so you have to
Because
make a boat and then just travel someplace else, probably.
you can't make a boat without obsidian in it. So I was like just like kind of soft locked into it, and I was like, all right, maybe it was just a bad seed. So like started a new one. And I just
Yeah.
started running around looking for it. Couldn't find it again. I spent like 20 minutes like opening up the map, and I was like, ah, man, I don't know. I just lost
Yeah.
like 5 hours like a free play. Like,
Well, I know that the survival mode, like they just had that update, so it's probably still pretty new, right? I'm guessing. So maybe they're still working on it. Who knows?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But overall, you've only spent 5 hours in survival mode. Shit.
Yeah, I was just messing around, dude. I was just listening to audiobooks and farming away, dude. I was just getting in that groove, that fun groove of just like, this is a fun brainless activity where I can slice up some dudes, collect some
For sure.
goods, collect the
For sure.
loot, build bigger base, dude. I was like, this is it.
I get it. I get it. So what have you been up to, man?
I've been chilling. I played, some more Tribes of Midgard. Tried the new Hearthstone update for Battlegrounds, and they finally did it. Those mad lads where,
So you got Professor to actually join you.
dude, you now like when you play Battlegrounds, like you used to be able to unlock like the 4 players and like the match with like the in-game currency, and they're like, you know what,
Yep.
we're gonna add gems. Now you have to buy gems with cash to unlock it, and I was like, dude, and
Got you,
like
bro.
yeah, and like the first week, whenever they do like, because I think they free refresh monthly, and that first week like everything's just super overpowered and broken. Like I feel like on purpose. to get, people outraged, to get the clickbait or whatever. But I think they're just, again, like, I'm pretty sure they just hate their fans and players, because I feel like they're just trying to shake off as many fleas as possible. They're like, oh, what do you like about the game? Let's take that out and then like make it worse. And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, oh, you're still playing, you must be pretty hardcore. How about if we just charge you real money? Are you still gonna play? And I'm like,
They got a
I
chunk
don't
of
know.
that Diablo Immortal money, dude. They're
Yeah, that was it. They're like, you have to justify being in business now.
so the
I heard
crazy
that.
thing is that game, Diablo Immortal, recouped its budget within the first like couple days. Like, what the fuck, dude? That's some predatory ass practices, you ask me.
Yeah, man. It's wild. I don't know. There's a lot of people, man. You get like 4 million people to get it for free, and 10% of that gives you like
107%. Yeah,
$60 or whatever, dude. Like, so that equals money, dude.
that's
They're
true.
just printing money.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard the same thing said about like Steam, where the teams there, like when they talk about like making something like a project, they think in like the scope of billions of dollars. Like where somebody like pitched a project and they're like, yeah, if we make this, we can like probably, I predict about like $200 million we could make. And they're like, that sounds like 0 billion. And like everyone laughed. Like that was like how they think, is like, if it's not making $1 billion, it's not worth our time. It's not worth 2 years of time. Like, and that's crazy. Like when you get to that big.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been, for how busy my day job has been, like experiencing these new, like a different, like a genre I typically don't care for, has been fun. It's been a good time. The then that got me thinking. So as you know, I have a Steam Deck or whatever. So I've as much as I've been on my
You've
computer
been hyping up
working,
the Steam Deck, dude. You're like, oh,
I
this one's
have.
going on my deck, dude.
I have, but there's a reason behind it, because as like I'm down here in the basement for the majority of my day, because I work from home, and then I
Basement
play
dweller.
play games and all that, right? Sometimes you don't want to
Yeah.
just sit here, you know what I mean? So like having the Steam Deck and going like, but I still want to play like games on my PC, but having that, going upstairs and just experiencing the world, like I was sitting in bed or whatever, and just chilling. And it got me to think about this episode's topic, man. Uh,
Oh,
I started playing the much maligned DMC, Devil May Cry, made the reboot made by Ninja Theory, where
okay.
where it just got shit on by users, right? It reviewed pretty decently.
I
Like,
enjoyed it.
so I have to say, yeah, I saw you were on the leaderboards too. So
I
on my friends
believe it.
list, so that was cool. I saw you play it on the easiest mode, and then I laughed.
Yeah, bro. I
Uh,
only died once, and it was on a jump that was broken. It wasn't my fault.
I believe it.
Like I did the jump, and it was like, I'm just not gonna work. There's bugs in that game, man. Like, because I played it when it first came out, and like,
Oh yeah,
there was like there, and then there was like another part where like you're supposed to execute like a different type of jump, and like I hit the like button inputs, and it was like, I'm just not gonna do it this time. And then I was like, am I doing this wrong? Am I hitting something wrong? And like I just like practice it and practice it, and I was like, no, it's
yeah,
still going. And it's just like something about like that gap where it's like a loading into like the next section or whatever, where it's just like, I'm just not gonna respect these button inputs.
yeah. It's I haven't encountered any bugs at all yet. So I'm assuming it's been fixed for whatever issue
Yeah.
you had. I'm playing on like whatever the medium difficulty is, because I was like, I heard some bad things about this game, so I don't want to like jump into hard mode and just get like locked or something. So I'm
Maybe
playing
that's why I
through it
had
on.
such a good time with it, dude, because I was just playing on easy and having a blast.
Yeah, no, medium's been just fine. Comboing up the first level, I got a double S ranking, and just chilling. And the second level, I'm on right now, and right now I'm on pace for the double S ranking too. The combat, it feels like Devil May Cry. It's very fun, very stylish. I'm juggling people in the air, keeping them up in the air with the guns, jumping them back up,
Yeah.
just
The juggle
having fun.
combo.
I will say the biggest drawback to that game is their mischaracterization of Dante. He's no longer likable. He's just a
Yeah.
pile of shit as a human
Yeah, it's
human
really
being slash
weird.
half demon. And that, I think that is like the main crux of the issue, because I think the
People love
design, the
Dante, dude.
world is very fun. I think that game would have done amazing if it didn't have the Devil May Cry name. You know,
Yeah.
like you could
And I
even
feel
set it
like
in the same universe. Just don't make that Dante. Make that someone else.
It's weird that they had like such a weird mischaracterization of a devil may care character. Like that's literally his like spirit is like he's just got a rogue with a devil may care attitude. And it's like it's literally in the name. It's how he's like care and like he's like now I care and I hate everything. I'm gonna be an emo piece of shit. And it was like
Right.
what? Like
Right.
no,
He was like he's angry at the world for no I've managed just from some reason stay in the dark of because I've played the original of course right
all
but
right, yeah,
I'm treating the reboot as like a different game entirely
yeah.
and just
That's
seeing
the way
where
to
it takes the
approach
story
it.
so I gotta say man I'm legitimately having a good time with it and with that I've also jumped back into giving Ninja Gaiden or Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z a try. I when that game first came out I was excited because as you know like still behind me, Ninja Gaiden poster. I have every Ninja Gaiden ever made. I thought about getting the arcade cab and all that shit. Um,
Really?
big fan. Yaiba completely shit all over the entire series
Yeah.
for me. I was excited too because I was like, "Oh, the creator of Mega Man working with Team Team Ninja to make a Ninja Gaiden game,
Is
and Ryu Hayabusa's the boss. That sounds fucking dope. We try to kill him, you know."
is
And then the game
everybody
came out.
like the creator of Mega Man? I feel like everyone has the title of creator of Mega Man now.
No, it was actually Inafune who
All
worked on
right.
it. It was his company that before he branched off and started working on Mighty Number Nine. Yeah, he did this. So it's something.
Yeah.
So the game it took out all of the gameplay from the Ninja Gaiden games like they're known for like its combo strings and how it felt more like a 3D fighting game than a hack and slasher,
Mhm.
and this one was almost too easy, and then you're fighting zombies for some reason, and like
Is
everyone's
that
like edgy and swearing for no reason. I don't even mind the cell shaded change because I was like, oh, you're playing a different character, so that's whatever. It's like it came out at a time kind of like with this DMC game, right, where everything was trying to be adult, edgy, and in your face for no
yeah,
reason, right?
like
Like I
what?
think it's just yeah, like what exactly.
Yeah.
Um, where it's just no character was redeemable. Everyone was kind of a snarky asshole in like the worst sense, you
Yeah.
know.
I guess what the kids are into, just crank it up to 11.
Yeah, but with the
Also,
Yaiba,
yeah, a lot of people complain about Ninja Gaiden that was too hard when
oh
it
yeah,
first came out.
they can eat a dick.
Yeah,
The game
this
had a
game's
great
impossible. This
that
is
game had a
so hard.
great feel, dude. And now people love like the Soul series or whatever. And I felt
Yeah.
like Ninja Gaiden was like Ninja Gaiden definitely has his ardent fans like myself, that who like a challenge. But before like Ninja Gaiden came out, what was the game that was challenging everyone? Right? I bet you can't think of one. you know,
Castlevania, dude.
Maybe DMC two. And then DMC two sucked
I got a
ass.
little
But
game for you. It's called Castlevania 64, bro.
you keep bringing up that game is good, dude. I'm gonna have you play that, and then you're gonna fucking lie to my face and say I'm having a good time. I guarantee
I'm
you,
having
you
a
won't.
great time.
That game's trash. Um,
I'm gonna play the Doom mod for OG regular Doom. They
oh
got
yeah,
a
yeah,
Castlevania WOD.
yeah. Yeah. And what's great about the Doom total conversions and Doom mods and all that is since it's running on the engine, they're all co-opable. Like no matter
Yeah.
what, like there's a really good Alien one that an Alien total conversion that you should definitely try. Okay, but anyway, I'm getting off
Everyone's being
topic. But
edge lords. Game's
yeah.
too
So
easy.
so Yaiba was another one of those games where I'm like, "Ah, I just can't fucking do this. Um, I loaded that up on the Steam Deck and turned my brain off, and I'm having fun with it. I still don't like it, but I will complete it. It's the only Ninja Gaiden game I haven't completed, and this is someone who also played through on the hardest difficulty the DS game, Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword,
Is
which is
there
actually
anything that'll
fucking
get you to
amazing.
quit, bro?
Quit what? Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah, like it's like if it's so hard or just so broken, where you're just like, I'm
Oh,
done.
so
Like
hard?
I'm
No. Difficulty
no.
doesn't scare me in games. If it's like bug related, that would get me to quit. If it's like definitely buggy, and that saying with Yaiba, there was a random crashing issue when that game first launched, and me not enjoying the gameplay either. That's why I've never beaten it. I'm like,
Yeah.
gameplay sucked. The game crashes all the time. Fuck that game. But now it works fine.
You know what I haven't
And
picked up since I picked it up the first time is the Final Fantasy remake, dude. I don't know. It was just like, yeah, I just like, I don't know. I played it and then I was like, there's no hooks in it to like bring me back to it. I was just like, I think I'm good. Like I was just like,
Aw, man.
this was all right. It looked great. Like the game looks gorgeous, but
You
I was
didn't
like,
get into the meat of it, dude.
everybody just felt like way too kawaii. Like kind of like how you said, like everyone's trying to be an edgelord. Like everyone was
Yeah.
like trying to be like a like K-pop star, dude, or J-pop star. They're just like, how could I be like the
Is it
most?
different because it's voice acted? Because if you
It definitely,
replayed
yeah,
Final Fantasy VII, it's like
yeah.
that.
I definitely feel that like voice acting plays a huge role in how you perceive like those events. Where it's like, you know, like when you see like a building being blown up or whatever, and you're like, yeah, we're in a terrorist group or like avalanche, like blah blah. Like you read it and you're like, okay, like these people have conviction about what they're doing. But when it's voice acting, it comes off like corny and cheesy, and like everybody seems like they don't want to be in the group. You're like, why are you guys doing this? Like, I don't believe this. Like, I don't believe any of you guys want to be doing what you're doing. Like, you guys all feel like weird cutout Muppets of an idea of a character. Like, I don't
We
know.
got
It's
to the point where the plate fell, where they blew up the plate and it fell on the town.
not yet. It's
Okay,
close.
that trust me, get to that point.
Oh, yeah, then everyone like starts taking shit serious
It's
instead of being like LOL. So he's like, I can't believe this blew up. We didn't use
hit
that many
harder.
explosions.
It
And you're
hit,
like,
no, no,
what?
it hit harder in this game than it did in the OG for me.
Okay.
So and that's where the game, like I was enjoying myself with that game, but then when that part hit, it really ramped things up for me.
I've been enjoying the game. Like I said, I enjoy it. It looks great. It's
Yeah.
just like there's nothing in there that like hooks me in where I'm like, I want to see what happens next. Like I said, I played a bunch of it back in the day, like where I got like
Oh yeah.
3/4 of the way done before my game got deleted. And I was like, oh fuck this game, I'm done. And
Yeah.
maybe that's also part of it too. Is like I know this isn't the complete story either. So like I know it's like episode 1, so I'm like, do I really want to get to the end? Because I just want to see what happens next, and like I'm
Sure.
gonna have to wait.
I get
Uh,
that.
so
I
maybe
get
I'll end
that.
up like marathoning it or like just coming back to it at some point. I don't know.
Okay, okay, but I will say there
I'm
is
just
a
putting
gem
that
of a
out
game
there
in there.
before
I
you
think
ask
that,
me.
yeah. No, that's
Whenever I
fine.
put a Final Fantasy, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. There definitely is a gem in there though. I think you liking RPGs, I think you will really enjoy it once you just get deeper into it. And I mean, there's some games like that, right? Where they're critically regarded, they're userly regarded, and everything else, but y- you just don't click with it.
Yeah.
I feel like the Xenosaga games are like that for me. Like I loved Xenogears on the PlayStation, and then like the Xenosaga series came out, and it's like too anime for me. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't. This just doesn't click with me, and I hear it's great. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I stuck with it, I'd like it, but it's just there's a huge barrier there.
It's definitely like a style and sensibility that like a lot of Japanese games have that like they sometimes just don't click for whatever reason with like a Western audience.
Yeah, I mean
And
that
I'm like
being
somebody
said,
who
like
watches like a ton of anime and reads
yeah,
like manga and shit. And I'm like, it felt more, it felt like a characterization. It felt like everybody who was originally involved in this project, like, is just collecting paychecks, dude. Like, they're just like, like, I don't know. It's weird. It feels like if somebody started like dug up your grandma and started puppeting their dead body and then like is trying to pretend like this isn't like kind of weird and creepy and then like
yeah.
it's just being super kawaii about it and you're like this is weird, this isn't like how I remember this at all. Like
I think you could have a very interesting story with someone having that characterization, but being super like a huge psychopath. I think
yeah.
that like
There you go, that's what I'm
diverse your
thinking. Everyone comes
personality
off
into it.
as a psychopath in that
Yeah,
story
sure.
just because of like how like unserious they're taking the subject matter.
Yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that. But like I said, there's a gem in there. But I think
Should have paid a director, dude. Like get somebody from like a movie like outside to like look in and be like, you guys know these guys are kind of coming off like psychopaths, right? Like just like anybody to like. And I feel like I don't know, maybe it's just like the glow and glitz of it, like where everybody like loves Final Fantasy and it's like one of the
mm,
best selling franchises of all time. So maybe because I
like
don't have that connect,
especially that game,
yeah.
especially that entry. So
So maybe it's because I'm like coming in without like that deeper connection where I can kind of look at it and be like, I understand like why this is great, but like this, I enjoyed the previous one better, but and like this is why, I just
yeah,
I don't know. It just comes off disingenuous, like cash grab. I
Sure.
know they've always talked about remaking the game since after the first one came out. They're like, oh, now that the PlayStation 3's out, are we going to remake it now? Is it 4? Are we going to do it now?
Yep. Yep.
So it's always been like everyone's always talked about it,
Yeah.
remaking it and stuff. So, and
Yeah.
then they had like all the weird spin-off games too. Like, I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, that was too much. Like I don't need those
the
spin-offs. Yeah, fuck that.
Verge of Cyberus or whatever.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
fighter
trash.
game.
They did have a fighter, didn't they?
They had a couple of mobile games, like gotcha games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a little bit of a just flood of Final Fantasy VII media, but it's
Especially seven.
especially seven. Yeah, yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. Uh, so I was just thinking with this and with me playing games that are kind of maligned on release and enjoying them at a later date, it made me think of when you release a game or when developers release a game, or much like movies, right? They can have legs the longer they have a life cycle. Like I look at you were showing me some AI pictures earlier before we
yeah.
started this pod,
I
and
went
one of
deep.
them was like Jack Black combined with I can't remember who he was combined with, but it looked
Peter
like Jack Black.
Dinklage.
Yeah, with Peter Dinklage, yeah. And I watched a YouTube of Jack Black kind of going over his career, and he made a very just deep comment on like the life cycle of movies. So the Tenacious D movie, Pick of Destiny, got like
It's
a
great.
really bad Rotten Tomato score, right? No one went to see it. They made no money. They lost money on it, but it had legs. It had legs on the home video market. I really loved Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny as well, right? But I didn't see it on release. I saw it
Yeah,
much later when it
I
and
love the movie. I felt they dropped the ball right at the end where the song they should have played should have been tribute when they're
okay,
battling. It was
yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah,
music
yeah.
battle off, and he was like, oh, "We're about to blow your mind," and I should have just hit tribute right there.
But yeah, that'd be sick.
That's me. That's my personal view.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Whatever.
I get that. I get that.
I was just like, "Oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna hit tribute," and I was like, "Nah." And I was like,
yeah.
"Damn it!"
So, so with that, I'm like looking in gaming, and Jack Black goes just because it doesn't get like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. He's like, whenever we play a show and we do any song from that movie, everyone knows every word to it, and they're singing along. I can put down the mic and they'll finish it for me. It
yeah,
had legs, and they were proud of it. They made the movie they wanted to make, and it got me thinking about gaming. Right, like Ninja Theory is now more known for Hellblade than they are the DMC thing, and they kind of got shit on as like for their creative direction and stuff. But and Capcom was there overseeing the project too, going, okay, yeah, go do this. You're playing with our franchise, yeah. This is and
yeah.
they had to have final
I
say on it,
always
right?
this is what always obsessed me about things because there's like an anime I like, Black Clover, and like the
Yeah,
voice actor they just hired like some actual actor, like some celebrity voice actor,
sure.
and everyone was like, "This voice actor's so bad!" Like, and then like it was so bad that they changed him out by like I think like season 2 or 3.
Okay.
And everyone was like, he's so bad, blah, blah, blah. Everyone was like talking mad shit about him. And I was like, there's a voice director, there's a producer, there's somebody who hired
Yep.
him, there's people who listened to him in the booth. They
Said,
went through
yep, this
like,
sounds good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was like, it went through like 10, 12 people before like it got to like the public. And like, you're going to blame the voice actor? Like, he gave the performance that they all agreed upon, when he did it. I'm sure he has like better range than like what he
Yeah.
gave, and they're like, no, no, do this. This is what we're looking for. Oh, that's great. Do it. Yeah. Again, like just stay there. There was probably like several takes to like find like what they wanted, and then like when it comes out, like the actor like got all the blame for it. So it's
Yeah.
weird. It takes a a lot of people to make any artistic endeavor like for a video game. So it's like, oh, it's easy to point and be like, oh, it's Ninja Theory, it's
Yeah.
Capcom. It's like, no, it's like hundreds of people working on this stuff, and like it goes through a lot of eyes to get to
Yeah.
being really
Yeah.
bad.
And I
I
think
don't
like I said as I was saying, like the time, right? Everything was trying to capitalize on being edgy and adult,
yeah,
right? And they're like, if you put things out
put
that
boobs
aren't
in
like
it.
that, you're not going to make money, right?
Yeah,
So
man boobs.
right, right. No, there's
The
legit boobs in
moobs.
there. But I think if you like if when I looked past that, right, I'm like, I could see what they were going for, and I could see certain people liking it. I think that where they suffered was they kind of shit on what came before. There's a point at the beginning of the game that's pretty famous on YouTube for anyone who's probably never played the game but have seen it, where the new Dante gets like the old Dante's hair on his head is like a wig, and he looks in the mirror and he goes, "Not in a million years," throws the wig off and starts fighting the monster. Um,
Yeah.
that really kind of shits on what Capcom did, and then and then that
Yeah,
character,
she's on
that
the
iteration
fan
of the
base.
character
It's
has
like,
so much love for that character, which I'm like, you're digging yourself into a deeper hole. Whoever approved that is a fucking idiot.
yeah.
You don't
It's like, why
alienate
would
your
you
own
do
fan
that?
base. Yeah, like there's been reboots that have
This ain't your
done very
dad's,
well,
Dante.
but yeah, but you do that by not alienating your base, and
Yeah.
I think just some bad creative decisions really had that game suffer, but there's a very solid hack and slash underneath it all, and I've been craving to play more hack and slash games. I actually just bought a one of the Dynasty Warriors games because I just want like a mindless, just fucking,
Yeah.
just getting things, making giant ass combos.
Gems popping out, points going
Exactly.
up, combos
Exactly.
through the
So
roof.
so for me, craving another hack and slash style game, I'm enjoying it, and that's leading me to I'm gonna finally play Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. When Ninja Gaiden 3 the original first came out, it came out like on my like 2 days before my birthday that year, and I played through it in a day and fucking hated it. I was so mad.
Yeah.
Like that's a game that also was hurt by the edginess of the time.
Yeah. A
And
lot of this stuff also feels like a top-down corporate decision where they're like,
yes, 100%.
what's selling, what's good for
Yep.
marketing. Like you
Yep.
see this with like DC Comics where they like try to put Batman in high school. They're like, let's make a young adult novel of Batman in high school, a YA novel. That's what the kids are into. And like the
Yeah.
core fan base is like, I'm not into this, bro. Like you got
Yep.
like, 4 million plus readers and you're like, nah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck those old guys. I always said this about like the Halo movie too, where like, or the TV show,
TV
sorry.
show. Yeah.
Yeah. Where like, it was like one of the best selling video games of all time. And they're like, yeah, but like, let's get a wider general audience that doesn't know anything about it. It's like, but why, bro? Like, how much you want all the money? Like, you have like
Yeah.
the best selling franchise of all time. Like, if you get those 6 million eyeballs on it, like, like
show's
that's
doing
a good,
well.
that's,
Yeah.
that's a really good show. Like, that's number one across the board. Like, most shows aren't doing those kind of numbers anymore with like so much content out there.
Yep.
And they're like, nah, we'll alienate those people. We're going to try and get like a wider net. And it's like, it's hunting for a ghost audience, right? Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh, there must be some Moby Dick audience out here, the white whale of audiences. And it's like, why don't you just, it sounds like kind of maybe contrived, but it's like, why not cater to your core audience and double down on like the core philosophies that like really built up this franchise? It's like, nah,
Yep.
man, these
Yep.
people aren't buying it. And it's like, yeah, because like you've been alienating them slowly by like trying to make it more and more general.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know.
Agreed. But I'm thinking too, man. Like with me enjoying this, the other thing I went back and played, and I messaged you about this, Battlefield 2042, the game that came out buggy as fuck, complete trash. It's
Garbage.
been a year. Season 2 is out or coming out really soon, and I played it. And I had a fucking blast, dude. It was super fun.
Yeah.
The game seems pretty fixed now. Did not have a single crash. The game ran like butter. It's still
Oh.
like 60 gigabytes. It's a big ass game, but it ran well. I was in a match with 128 people, shit blowing up all around me, helicopters fucking falling
Yeah.
on my head, no lag whatsoever.
Wow. Was there any helicopters inside of buildings or?
I mean, not like they phased in, like someone tried to fly a helicopter into a building and we all rocketed the shit out of it and it came spinning down on us.
All right,
That's
yeah.
the Battlefield gameplay that I was looking for, right? And
Yeah.
I finally got it. Like I was enjoying it, man. So,
Do they
as
have
much
to
as
go bigger?
They did it. No. The problem
Like-
is they were too ambitious, and the release date, like the game needed another year in the oven, and it's clear because a year later the game is fun. The game is
Yeah.
like not buggy. Like parties actually work. They show your like one of the big things in the
Oh.
beta is they did not show your kills. Now they show kills. Shit like
Yeah.
that. It's like missing a
Should
lot
have
of
just
like
been in there.
things that are there. But that goes to show, man, like games right now, every game, like patching, day one patches ruined gaming as we grew up with it. Like the generation below us, they're used to this. They're like, oh, you just gotta wait for a little bit, and the game's fine. And that's the
Yeah.
problem. Like, no one's releasing games that work right away. Sans From Software with Elden Ring, right? Games
I
now
mean,
are designed to have legs and designed to be a year out to be the game that they actually envisioned, and
welcome.
that's upsetting. But also, I'm getting it now, and maybe
Yeah,
games
bro.
that I thought were shit aren't as shit anymore. So maybe
This
I got to
is
give more of a try.
welcome to my Zen cultivation club, bro. I don't buy any games day one for years now. Like the last
Single player
like
games, I will.
like last like 15 years, dude. I always wait a year. I was just like, I don't know. Like I saw where the trends were. It was like a few games came out like really buggy and broken, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. The only game I bought,
Cyberpunk.
yeah, and then I was like, yeah, this just reaffirms it that I should have just waited a year because like, I don't, but, like I did run into a lot of the problems that other people ran into who were trying to play like on last gen consoles. Like I played on like a pretty good PC, and like I had like one bug the whole
Yeah,
time.
my buddy of mine, shout out Poison, played it as well, and he's like, yeah, it's buggy, it kind of runs bad, but like he beat it, It's like it was fine.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and
yeah,
like
kind of like you're
again,
saying.
like right now they've just had like their last patch and people are saying like this is the game that probably should have shipped because like it's fixed a lot of AI issues, it's fixed like a lot of like random spawning in problems, it's like added like factions, like people have been modding it to like add even
There's a
like
bunch of mods that
more.
look fun. Yeah,
Yeah, like people made it where like each gang that you run into around the city has like their own like specialty. Where there's like hackers now, there's like muscle people, there's like gunners. It's like so like you wouldn't want to use like a certain strategy against like a certain like faction. Where you're like, oh yeah, if you try and like hack like deckers, dude, like it's not gonna happen. Like you're in turn you're gonna get reverse hacked and like you're gonna have some problems.
yeah,
So yeah, modding community's been huge on that, and they've just been slowly fixing it. And it's like this is how it should have released. Like this game needed like 2 more years in the oven, and it's pretty
yeah,
clear. But like you hit like enough pre-sales, and like the businessmen are just like, yeah, shit, but we're losing money by like holding on to this thing,
yeah,
and it flies in the face of like the core design philosophy of that company, where it's like it's done when it's ready,
yep,
and they're like,
yep.
or
Like the
until we get
Witcher
enough money.
games have all been done when it's done, and then Cyberpunk, like, fuck
Yep.
it, ship it now, all hands
Yeah.
on deck.
That was one of their press releases leading up to it because that game was in development for so long. It's like it's done when it's done. Like it's like wow, is it though, bro? It doesn't
Yeah,
look that great
yeah.
on you.
Right, for sure, for sure. So it's a tough realization, man. Like I'm happy because I have new things to play, right? And
Yeah.
it's a new experience, but it's also shitty because like that's a really shitty way to make games to make, you know what I mean? Like we came out at we came up in a time where if the game was shit when you first played it, you never touch that game again.
Yeah.
You think I'm going back to play fucking Blasto, dude? That game sucked ass. Like Phil Hartman being the voice actor for Blasto was like the only saving grace of that game. That game, the
Yeah.
gameplay was fucking terrible. I'm not going back to play Blasto. Drake the 99 Dragons, you think I'm going back to play that? Fuck no, dude. So
What was the game Jack Block was part of? Where it's like a headbanger. You know what I'm talking about?
Brutal Legend was
Yeah,
fucking
Brutal
great.
Legend.
I
Yeah,
just enjoyed
it came
that
out a
game.
little busted.
I didn't think it came out busted. Actually, I bought it right away.
All
I
right,
think
didn't have any
people
issues.
it got marketed as a hack and slash, and it was actually a fucking strategy game,
Yeah,
army
it's like
building.
a
So I think
real-time
mismarketing
strategy
is that problem.
RTS.
Yeah. I think it was
They should do
mismarketed.
a. I would like a second crack at that. Give them a Brutal
Same,
Legends too. Like,
same. I agree. Jack
we
Black
got
has said that he would
Psychonauts.
love to do it again. Yeah. I think it like correct marketing is just what that game needed because it was marketed as a hack and slash game, and even Jack Black going on to talk shows to say, "Oh yeah, Brutal Legend's an awesome game," and he played it with Conan or something, and they only did the hack and
The
slash
hack and
parts.
slash, which is like
Yeah,
the yeah.
but the biggest part of the game was the fucking RTS parts. Like when I jumped in, I was like, okay, Jack Black's a voice actor. I like Double Fine games. Then when it had like the RTS parts, I like that gameplay. So I'm like, oh hell yeah, this
Yeah.
is fucking cool,
This is
right?
solid.
But you marketed to the wrong audience, man. They like you said, they marketed to the wider like TV shows.
General on,
It's like,
trick
can
them
we
into it.
get general audience, but when they had like hardcore game base, like RTSs aren't for general audiences.
Yeah,
So
they
I
really
think
are.
that's what it was. Yeah, if anybody listening hasn't played Brutal Legend, fucking give it a try, dude.
Give it a shot.
It's fucking every heavy metal album cover you've ever seen. Those are worlds in this fucking game, and it's great.
Yeah,
Like that
it's
was so
solid.
cool, dude. And it's not like the game is difficult or anything. It's a fun playthrough. I think some of the RTS sections, if you're not an RTS guy, can probably make you scratch your head a little bit and work at it. But games aren't supposed to be just turn page stories. You got to work at them, man.
Yeah,
It's like I thought Brutal Legend was great.
I don't know,
Um,
it's like not every game's going to cater to every audience, but like it seems that's what mega corporations want. They're like, how can we get all the money? How can we get everybody in it? And
the
it's
thing
like,
with
I don't
catering
know.
to major audiences, you get like a boiled down game with no identity. Like I think Call of Duty is like the biggest thing of this. Like it's like when you think bog standard shooter, unfortunately, you think Call of Duty because Call of Duty was the most successful for a while, and every other game tried to copy it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just chasing whatever's in the lead right now. I mean, it's what movie executives do all the time. They're like, where you'll hear like the studio notes are like, whatever is like number one in the box office that week. They're like, can we add this to our movie?
yeah,
It's like, bro, like that wasn't the movie you signed off on though. Like you're trying to like how can we add a volcano and robots into it? And it's like this is a romance comedy, dude. Like you guys are
I'd watch
going
that movie
hard.
actually.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So maybe they're onto something. Like,
Right, right.
sometimes if you put enough stuff in the gumbo, it comes out really good. So
Right, for sure, for sure. But yeah, man, I think that you're right, you're right. So kind of that Zen moment. With a
yeah,
little
man,
bit of the
just
time we got left, is there any game that had like legs that you've jumped in later in time that you thought, huh, it's actually pretty good?
I'm trying that with the the Lord of the Rings game. I can't think of the name of it.
Shadow
I just
Mordor,
yeah, Shadow Mordor, the second one.
the second one, yeah, that was
Yeah,
microtransaction heavy. Yeah,
yeah. I just
they took
finally
that
bought like
out, right?
the
Yeah,
yeah. So I finally bought that like the Game of the Year edition of that for like $8. So I'm gonna give that a shot, and I'm like, I really enjoyed the first one, and like again because I wait a year, everyone was like, "Oh, this is bad with microtransactions." I was like, "All right, let me just give it a little longer." Eventually they'll crack. Eventually, like it'll be like, "Oh, have like a bajillion in-game currency when you buy it," which can flip the script where the game will become super easy, where it's like start the game with a legendary weapon and armor and just run through. But you see my Devil May Cry playthrough, bro. I ain't above that. I'll just throw it
yeah,
on easy mode and just enjoy it, dude. Like
yeah,
I've become more of a content tourist as I get older. Where I'm like, I just want to get through the game. I want to see the story. I've played all the Devil May Cry games, and I was like, all right, I'll try this out.
yeah,
Uh, Again, when I played that game wasn't reviewing well, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna throw this on easy and see like what all the hubbub's about.
yeah,
And then you go through and I'm like, this is a really good game. I don't know what everyone's crying about. Like this is fun.
yeah,
I had a good time with it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
definitely.
I don't know. I'd wait for sales on stuff too for a lot of stuff where I'll try stuff later on. And yeah, it's like Darksiders is like a game I came to late. Like a lot of games I've come to like a
That
little
game
bit
was
later.
actually pretty solid.
Yeah, it's
I've
great.
only played the first one. I own all of them just because they pretty much gave them away for free for a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like you buy a
and
keyboard, have Darksiders. You're like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, and the first game was actually solid. Like it's a little clunky,
Yeah.
but like I said, like sometimes like I love hack and slash games, and sometimes I'm just looking for one that I haven't played before, And Darksiders scratched that itch one time. I played through the first one, thought it was fun. It
It's
was clunky,
basically
but it was decent.
Legends of Zelda, dude.
Zelda, yeah, it's Zelda just made
I think like some of the
worse.
later puzzle places, like there's a little bit too much backtracking on, but overall solid game.
Yeah, yeah,
One and
definitely.
two. I haven't
Yeah,
played three, so maybe I'll go and try three. I heard bad things about three when that came out because they're like, "Oh, this isn't Darksiders anymore." Blah blah
yeah.
blah.
Is that the
And
one
that
where
was that.
you're the famine or something? I forget which god you're or which
I think
horseman you're playing
Wrath
as.
maybe or
Wrath,
something,
yeah.
or maybe a Wrath in the first one. Yeah, you're one
Uh,
of them. I think
we're
you're the
one of them, right?
lady
It's
one.
it's the lady one, right? And I think they
Uh,
tried to copy the Dark Souls gameplay style. And I think that's what
a
people
little bit
hated, but
more. Yeah.
yeah,
But like you
yeah.
gotta modernize that game. Like we said, it's like clunky,
Sure,
there's a lot of
sure.
backtracking and stuff where it's like if you want to modernize it, make it a little bit more combat focused. Because it's like a fun hack and slash type of game. And like if you switch it up now and you're like, oh now it's gonna be more combat oriented, like that also makes sense in the content of like it's a different character. Where if you're like you're not
Yes.
playing again, the first character is Wrath. So of course
Yeah.
he's gonna be like a big brute who's just
Or was
hack
it
and
War?
slash and
Wasn't the first one War?
Yeah. I think War then Wrath. So it was like, and then they could go to Famine. So it's like
Yeah, so like, oh wait, it's War, Death, Wrath, right? I
something
don't
like
know.
that.
Either way, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah,
makes sense within like the pantheon of those characters.
yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah,
like
yeah.
that one would be like they're not as like top heavy and strong, where they're like destroying people, walking
Mhm.
through like a walking juggernaut.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. And like there's always like the Fame last game where I was going to combine all of them, and you'd have to like switch between them, like the Lost Vikings.
yeah.
So yeah, it'd be all right.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, man. It's games have legs now. They're like any other media.
You ever go
I
and play No Man's Sky?
No, never will.
I hear it's good now, man.
I do too, but just
It's
the
got
lack.
VR support, bro.
I know, and I hear it's great. But like I said, like, is there a point to it? Like, the game doesn't have an ending, right? It's just you do
Is
what you
there a
want to
point to
do.
Minecraft, bro? Is there a point to
I don't
Tribes of
do I
Midgar,
see me
Valheim?
playing. Well, Tribes of Midgard has an end though. You know, like
Yeah, that's
you
true.
end that quest, you're done. Like I need
There's a
like it
lot of
feels.
mismarketing with that game.
I get why gamers and people like games like No Man's Sky, Minecraft, and stuff. It's like an infinite sandbox, right? I'm a
You don't have
person
infinite
who,
time.
yeah, I'm a person who likes
You're a
finished
person who
stories.
doesn't have infinite time
Yeah, yeah.
too.
I like stories that are complete. You know, I like self-contained things. You know, I think if you like beat the game and then it leaves like a sandbox open like afterwards that you can just explore and do whatever you want, I think that's fine. But I need like a driving force behind it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad. I think that's just how I
A
like to
buddy,
consume things.
a buddy of mine was telling me about this old Flash game where it was like a bunch of people. He said like the gameplay was very basic. It
Okay.
was like basically like you're slapping people and they're slapping you. It was kind of like Punch Out.
Okay.
Uh, and he goes, yeah, the gameplay wasn't great, but the story is what sold it for me. He was like, it's your family in-laws are trying to take your family inheritance away from you. And like when the lady comes up to you, it's like this bitch is trying to slap you. He's like that hooked me in. He's like
That's hilarious.
yeah, it has story, it has stakes, it has like there's something involved. Are you gonna get your family fortune? You have to like slap through all the in-laws who keep trying to like come and take your money. So
That's
yeah, it's
hilarious.
something just like even just adding like a little bit of story to like a repetitive like boring gameplay can like
Yeah.
have hooks for years. Like it's something that you'll remember. It's like, oh damn,
Yeah.
that bitch is trying to slap you. So it's like every once in a while he'll just think about that.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like with even with Minecraft, like I played it a bit before they added the Ender Dragon, but when they added the Ender Dragon, there was like a end game style thing. Like it was still the
Yeah, you're
same gameplay,
building
and you could
towards
ignore
something.
it. But like for me, I'm building towards fighting that thing, you know? And
Yeah,
that's what drove it for me. So
I
I
mean,
will
you
say to
can,
this day that Minecraft's a great game. But, for me, I just need a goal. If No Man's
yeah.
Sky has a goal like that, I'll play it. It's gonna be in VR. I'll play it. I need a goal though.
It was definitely a shift in the early 2000s when we got away from like the quarter eaters and games had to have a story mode and then
Yes.
also multiplayer. It's like if your
Yes, you
game
needed
doesn't have
both.
multiplayer, it's not going to have legs. And like you could think of like multiplayer almost as like that infinite gameplay loop for most
Yes.
games, where it's like, yeah, most modern AAA games have to have like an infinite gameplay loop now in it built into it, but it has to have a good story to hook people in. Where it's like people enjoy Halo for the story, but they love it because of the multiplayer aspect, right? It's got that infinite replayability. You
Yes.
have like we said, like emergent gameplay with like all of your friends where like something happens where you're like, oh, now you're rocket jumping or rocket launching yourself across with a
Yeah.
or like sticky grenading somebody. There's wild stuff that happens and like yeah. So you need both.
Mhm.
And you can't have a busted game.
True.
But everyone's shipping busted games now, so even the new Halo came out busted. So I'm hoping Forge brings it back, dude. Are you gonna give it a shot again after the Forge drops?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Actually,
you're
when
saying no. You're like absolutely not. When I talked to you the other day, you're like, I'd rather play Splitgate, and I was like, all right, man. But you see this Forge, man. People are doing cool stuff with it. You're like, all right, maybe I'll play Splitgate if in Forge, bro. If there's somebody makes it,
that's
and I was
exactly
like,
what I
all right.
said. Actually, is if
Yeah,
someone's gonna make Splitgate Forge, I'll play it. We'll talk about Halo next time because they canceled the co-op mode. I think I want to talk about. I think the next episode will be about like developer promises and roadmaps, and then like
Peter Molyneux, my balls. Get to the
we could
center of the cube.
we could definitely spend an entire pod talking about Peter Molyneux. But yeah,
You will own the company if you get to the end of the game.
I think that deserves a bigger dive. But yeah, dude, I'll definitely play Infinite for Forge, and definitely
He's
do
back
like a
at it
co-op
again with
campaign through.
NFT games, bro.
Back at it again, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, can't stop this man. He's like, what
All
if I
right,
made an
man,
infinite game that you make a game in,
for
and
sure.
people pay me money to make my game for me?
Fucking Peter Molyneux. On that note, Black and White is amazing. Play that game if you haven't. Peter Molyneux is best, if you ask me.
I like Fable 2. Fable 2 is a good.
For sure, for sure.
I think
All right,
Fable 3 is where it shines the most. That's where Microsoft kind of wrestled control away from them. Like, get the fuck out of here.
because he's doing too much. Yeah, you probably shut the fuck up, Peter Molyneux. On that note, I'm Mr. Gimpy.
Chipmunk, like,
See you guys
share,
later.
subscribe.
We
We out.
out.
Peace.